Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Grab a seat. Morning, Adam.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am here. How are you? You can get, well, I don't, maybe you can't. Yeah. They give you the orange things and yeah.
Shake or whatever.
Huh?
Shake.
You got to do whatever tricks work for you.
All right. Welcome everybody to Comms vNext 2026. How's everybody doing this morning? All right. I did ask for the WWE walk-up music with smoke and fireworks, and they told me no. So I'm sorry. But we do want to welcome you. Before we get going here with our opening ceremonies, we do have some housekeeping items. Yes, I have to keep everything written down because I'm old now. So first off, most of you probably have seen a lot of the jokes out there about the Kit Kat heist. So first off, we just figured we'd give you guys something a little sweet. Under your chairs, there is a Kit Kat taped. So feel free to grab something, and hopefully later on today when you're fully exhausted and the coffee has run out, you'll have a little bit of sugar for you. So we're going to keep this fun and lively with that. So also, as we go forward, the Wi-Fi information is up here on the screens, and it's also on the back of your badge. So feel free to join in on the Wi-Fi. You will need the Wi-Fi here in just a few minutes to make sure that you can join in on a couple of games that we've got going for you. Next up, I really just want to take a quick moment to say thank you. Thank you to all of y'all who came in. Evidently, all right, first off, I have a quick question. Who here is from the Northeast?
Which country?
Sorry, I'm a little biased, Ben. All of y'all can take your weather back with you when you leave, because we've had a beautiful summer all winter here in Colorado, and we haven't had any snow, and so you brought it with you, I guess. But anyways, thank you so much. First off, big round of applause to all the volunteers who have helped set up, especially Pat Richard, who has done all of the AV, Eric Marcy, who's doing the podcast booth and has helped immensely getting all of this set up. Somewhere around here is Sharon and a bunch of other folks who helped organize all the volunteers who set this up. If y'all don't know, Comms vNext is 100% volunteer driven. Okay, we're a 501c3, 100% volunteer driven. So if you see somebody with one of those roadie t-shirts, just tell them thank you. Also, we have, if you see him as well, everybody should know Ahmed by now. Ahmed runs the hotel here and keeps everything going. We have Don, we have Tanner, we have Sam. They have all done so much work since last week to make sure this all went off. So just truly thank you for all of that. Next up is sponsors. So just a little bit of note, we're going to open the expo hall right after the opening ceremonies here. Please go say hi to the sponsors. Tell the sponsors thank you. They allow us to do what we're doing. And really quickly, we've got the folks at Landis. I got to make sure I get all these blurbs right because they sent me all this stuff. And so with that, so we're going to kind of highlight all of the platinum sponsors as we go through here this morning. But Landis Technologies is an org that cares about community. They are the only company to have sponsored every single year at Comms vNext's existence, and not just Comms vNext, but also other community conferences such as CommsVerse. And they are the longest running sponsor of the Teams user group. They are here again this year to help you build your org's community by bringing together Microsoft Teams and your business data to make your customers happy. So if you attend Shannon's session at 11 tomorrow morning, you'll get a glimpse of why the community conference like this are so important. So, and by the way, they want to make sure that they got this in there. By the way, Shannon's session is not a sales pitch at all, no features mentioned, and just passing comments about what we do at Landis. The goal is to shine a light on the importance of human connection and conferences like Comms vNext. So just really quickly about that, but we have lots of sponsors out in the exhibit hall today. We'll highlight a few more here in a minute. The expo hall will open today. Right after this, we'll have a little bit of time so you can go visit them. The other thing that we're doing, if you did not get it, it's out at the registration table. We have an exhibit hall bingo going on. So go fill that out and you get entered and win prizes. We have prizes from sponsors out there, so we will have folks like Jabra and Shore and Poly and Plenum all have donated gifts for us to give away. So good chance to get some swag and some really good stuff, not just the little trinkets. Next thing, really quickly, I want to encourage everybody here on one thing. we have a great community. We actually had a huge privilege this year. We had some people step up and provide money so that people who were looking for jobs could come, and so meet new people today. I just want to encourage you, if you're sitting at a table, invite somebody to join you. If they're looking around for a place to sit, have them come join you, meet somebody new with that, and that would be awesome. Later today, starting at 4:30, we will have a reception party here from 4:30 to 6. In the exhibit hall, there will be a couple of bars set up and everything. For meals, lastly, we have the meals are going to be right back in here in this room starting after the keynote today. So just as a heads up, breakfast tomorrow will be back down here, not upstairs. So we just do that because we need to flip the room. With that, I want to just say thank you again for everybody who's joined us here, and just really, really welcome everybody to the event. Now we've got Josh Blaylock who's going to come up. So I think I've got my order of operations correctly here. So
I think you nailed them all.
So we've got Josh coming up to kick things off. Josh, if you don't know who he is, he's been an MVP for a number of years. And so Josh, I'll let you get started on introducing our first things while we get set up.
Yeah, so we're doing things a bit different this year, right? Instead of one solid keynote speaker, we kind of broke it up into a few things going on, keeping y'all on your toes, keeping it lively. And we're going to start today with a panel. All right, so we brought a few different people representing different parts of the industry. We're going to bring them up on stage, and I'm going to go through a few questions. It's going to be almost game show-like because we're going to have 8 minutes per question, and I know that if we go over 8 minutes, Pat is going to pull us off stage physically. So, yes, there's going to be a game show happening a little bit later in the keynote as well. So, at this point, if I can go ahead and have our panelists come on up. I think we're a little out of band here. Do you want to make one more announcement before we move forward? We did rehearse this yesterday, and we're just a little out of order on that. But
no, what happens is you get up here, and the panic sets in of having to be on stage and talking on a microphone, and then you go, oh goodness. So that's what happens. So in our second of our platinum sponsors, we've got Cisco. And Cisco, for this MVP audience, Cisco's connected intelligence shows up in real deployments aligned with Microsoft ecosystem through the MDEP, Microsoft Device Ecosystem Platform, single pane of glass management via Control Hub APIs. It simplifies IT operations, zero-touch provisioning, accelerates deployment, consistent device telemetry, ensures reliability, and AI workloads run locally on dedicated hardware, not the PC, for enhanced audio and video quality. Built on RoomOS 26 and optimized with NVIDIA AI, Cisco's integration with MDEP delivers a native Microsoft Teams Rooms experience with enterprise-grade security and seamless interoperability. If you prioritize scalable architecture and operational simplicity without compromise, Cisco's implementation of MTR is worth a closer look. Visit the Express Install booth to learn more. So, thank you, Cisco. Thank you, Landis. And we'll talk about some of the other sponsors here. I think we were supposed to actually jump into our game show because you came over on the side and I was like, oh, it's ready for, Josh is ready for it. So let's do this. Before we get to our panel here real quick, we're going to kick off with a little bit of some interaction with everybody. So we've got a quiz. So go ahead and use your phone to scan the QR code, and we're going to see who can score the most points. So a couple of rules about the game. One, I made up the game, so I made the rules. Secondly, the faster you answer, the more points you get. So you can either answer fast and wrong or slow and right, and you can get points. So, and whoever wins, we have a Logi MX mouse for you to win today. So this isn't just like, hey, for bragging rights, we actually have some swag to give away. So we'll give everybody just a quick minute to get signed in, and then we will get the game going. Hey, Jonathan, people getting in? Looking good? All right, anybody still trying to get in? We'll give 30 more seconds. And this game goes fast, so you only have 15 seconds to answer each question. So you got to answer quick. I'm ready. All right, so we're going to get ready and we're going to hit start. And the first question will come up on your phone. You'll answer, and then we will go from there. And the leaderboard will be posted up over here, so we'll be able to see who's going. So, all right. Ready, Jonathan? All right. Did it not go? Are we having a failure? It's going? All right. So, since we can't see who's going on this, people will have to answer the questions. You'll have 15 seconds to go. I wish I could see what was going on. But we'll get the leaderboard and we'll get the winner at the end. So I will say, I've already commented one of the answers for the quiz so far this morning from the stage. I'm going to tell you 15 seconds at a time never feels so long.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, somebody's going to, if the questions are going for the audience participants, then we're good. That's all that matters. Somebody's going to show me a who won at the end, and I'm going to get them a Logi mouse. So. Right up until Ben comes up and says, I won, when he blatantly didn't. You started it. See who's got the most comms vNext knowledge.
How many questions did you load in this thing?
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I'm like,
but 15 seconds
not a
should go
clock
quick.
ticking.
Should go quick.
Okay.
There's some good ones in there. There's some obvious ones. There's some not so obvious ones.
when I was looking through them, I was like, yeah, this would have thrown me. So, yeah. You got tricky
And you
with
helped
some of them.
organize it.
I know. That's.
And we kept the not Pat Richard joke out of it. So.
But there's going to be a not Pat Richard joke somewhere in this conference. There always
Totally.
is. Always is.
Yeah. Exactly. Somebody tell me what question you're on right now. Oh, it doesn't tell you? Okay. You would think I would know how this worked. All the best laid plans. I should have joined from my phone just to see.
Yeah, scanned it and joined it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't take more than 5 minutes since it's 20 seconds per total question. So
Yeah.
yeah, so 200 seconds.
Pretty close. And then we should see it up
Yeah.
here, right? Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
We'll have an answer here in a minute or two.
Yes.
So, Adam, how are you doing?
You know, for those of us who are slow readers, it's kind of red.
Did you put like a book in each question there?
No.
Or no? Okay.
No, I don't think any question was more than like 8 words. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Adam, I'm gonna make fun of you here in a minute. I'm gonna completely tease you about something. Usually I just use the excuse I can't see my phone anymore, but I mean, I brought mine yesterday to help set up, so somewhere around here Matt's got his kids too, so they've helped out for years now, helping us. We couldn't do this without the Slaga boys and Matt, so.
I could use a Kit Kat right about now.
Yeah. Who needs a break midway through the game?
Put under here too? No?
No.
Okay.
Questions done? Oh. Not yet? All right. Brian, you're going to be my guy who tells me when it's done. Ben's winning? Oh, it's rigged. He hacked the system.
That does feel rigged.
It does feel rigged.
Not saying that you couldn't legitimately win, Ben, but it just.
Just because they called definitely Ben, it doesn't mean it's me.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair.
See, which LLM did Ben hack that?
I know.
To put the answers in. All right, who are the leaderboard right now? Somebody yell them out. Ben and Eric. Oh gosh.
You're sitting next to each other. Are one of you looking at each other's answers or something? When you, no?
Yeah. That's all good. It's got to be close. I think 20 seconds times 15. It's all done. All right. So who won? Did Ben won? All right. Who? All right. Who's second? Eric. All right. Who's third? What? Who's master of UC? Oh, geez. No. Really? Man. All right. All right. Who is fourth? Dave. Where's Dave? All right. All right. Dave, come up and see me because I don't like the rest of these guys. I told you. I made up the rules. So from
Very
that
rigid.
standpoint, exactly. So Dave, come see me afterwards. And I'll get you a mouse, and then we'll take the rest of them, and we'll make sure they get hooked up with something else. So thank you all. Hopefully you had fun, even if we couldn't get it up here. But we're gonna now bring up our panel and let them. And Josh, you can start introducing them.
Now, panel. Are we good?
Is it?
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Pat, panel, or do I have another panel? Okay.
All right. Let's
Yep.
jump into that. All right. So again, quick. My name is Josh Blaylock. I'm one of the organizers for the conference. Also been an MVP, like Adam said, for a number of years. The day job, I work at Shure, and today we're going to be doing a quick panel, about 8 minutes per question. Like I said, Pat will pull us down if we go over. We're going to keep things on schedule here, but this will be it. We have someone from Microsoft, someone representing Microsoft MVPs. We have an industry analyst and an industry insider, all joining our panel today, so we get some kind of unique views on AI and its prevalence in the workplace. So with that, I'd like to welcome up Heidi Elmore, Patrick Kelly, Kevin Keeler, and Ben Lee. Come on up. Where we got? Kevin. All right. Heidi. Yes, please don't fall off, Patrick. I'll jump in this one. I don't know if our insurance covers if you fall off, so please, yeah, there we go. All right. Did you top 20? Okay, good job, Patrick. All right, you're getting up there. That's good. That's good. All right, so we're going to keep this pretty fresh. What I'm going to do is ask the question. I'm going to throw it to one of you. Feel free to jump in. Anyone else on the panel that wants to add to that? Once we get to the end of our 8 minutes here, even if you're mid-sentence, I think that's enough from you, and we'll move forward to the next question. All right?
And you're done.
Yep, that's it. That's it. You're cut off. So first question up here, and I think we're going to end up throwing these up there, is a current, where are we at in our AI journey from your view, right? Are we still in the hype phase? Are we still in the buzzword phase? Or are we actually seeing meaningful, real adoption transformation? And if we are, what does that look like, right? And so I'm going to start with you, Kevin, from the analyst side of things, getting the top-down view there. Where do you think we're at there?
Yeah, so a great question. I think it's less about hype. I mean, of course, the vendors hype it. It's been more about misapplication of AI, because the truth is nobody really wants AI. They really want whatever magic they think AI is going to bring. And the problem is everybody thinks it's going to bring different magic. If you're in the contact center, you think it's going to do call deflection or better customer experience. If you're a knowledge worker, you think it's going to improve productivity. But I think what's happening is slowly but surely people are experimenting, the people who are smart are experimenting with AI, and they're figuring out use cases that are indeed making their life easier. So I think the vendors are still hyping it. Don't put AI in your product name. Just make it be a fantastic product, and things are getting better. So that's my opinion there, Josh.
I'd love to, at this point, pivot to the Microsoft perspective on that, and we'll go on down, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm back at Microsoft, so Heidi Elmore, by the way. Back at Microsoft for, I think it's 8-9 weeks now.
Yeah, a whole 2 months.
So I've done a little journey around the industry, but so I'm not sure you could actually take what I have to say as the Microsoft point of view. I think it would just be Heidi's point of view, so I'm not representing the point of view of my employer. So I would have to agree with Kevin in the sense that I do think that, what's that movie, Anything, Everywhere, All at Once?
Yeah.
I think it's all true. It's at every moment in the hype cycle right now, just depending on what use case you're talking about, who you are. So I do think that there's definitely depending on what part of the business. So for example, I'm focused a lot on contact center right now. One thing I personally think about a lot is what does success look like? So Kevin mentioned call deflection. Is that truly our measurement of success? What is our measurement of success for productivity? In the contact center, a contact center agent might get new AI tools, and now all of a sudden, average handle time goes down. That's great in the short term, but long term, your average handle time might actually end up increasing because all of a sudden, those low skill, highly recurrent interactions get automated. And so your contact center agents all of a sudden are having these really rich, deep conversations, which makes, guess what, average handle time go up. So I do think that the impact of AI is just, it's early, and yet we're right in the thick of it. So I don't know if that's the most classic non-answer you've ever heard.
Good job.
But maybe I should be an analyst.
Maybe. There we go. Patrick, from your view, and you're here as both the tattooed nerd and kind of representing the Zoom side of the story a little bit, but where are you at on this?
First of all, I'm sick of the word AI already.
Yeah. I think we can all, everybody sick of that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
AI fatigue is 100% real. But Microsoft, Zoom, Cisco, we keep pushing that term over and over, and we as SaaS providers push that into every product name, as Kevin said. People don't care anymore about the word AI. What they care about is what it can do for them. And that's really what people are still trying to figure out. And I think it also depends on what vertical you're talking about when it comes to workflows. For example, I talked at ILTACON, which is this gigantic legal conference. No one in legal wants to use AI right now. It's just not happening. I work in Charlotte, Carolina, North Carolina. That's where I live, I think, which is a big financial center of the United States. Those financial analysts, financial advisors, they are embracing AI because it's speeding up their work. They don't care it says AI. They want to be able to track stocks, financial advice, find flows way faster than doing it manually. Those are use cases. And until you find the use case, people, knowledge workers, information workers, aren't going to care if it's AI or not.
Like it. Ben, from the community side, right? From the MVP side of it, down like in the trenches, working with customers, creating content, stuff as it relates to AI and real-time use cases there. What are you seeing, and I mean, are you feeling you're still having to hype?
I mean, the challenge there is the hype phase. Like this is such a deep hype phase. I don't know if we're ever going to see an end to that because it's moving so fast that there's a next thing, a next thing, a next thing. Like we've all worked in that space if we're in the M365 world of, you know, evergreen and life cycle, but this is just moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
But the good news is those of us who've done the trench warfare of Skype for Business and Link and telephony replacements, the key to those projects wasn't the technical side, it was the user adoption, it was the find the use case, to Kevin's point. And you know, find the hook, find the thing that saves time that you build on. That's exactly what applies to the AI cycle as well. You know, with Teams, it was the meeting recap facilitator that we've got now. It's building on top of those things that offer solid results and genuinely save you a little bit of time and buy you a bit of respite. The rest of it, are we going to see the end of the cycle of that? No. Is it going to improve? Yes. Is it going to let people do more quicker, with less resources? Sure. Do we know what that's going to look like? Don't know, but I'm here to find out.
Well, and I was going to add, I would be careful of the people that dismiss it as just hype, because I think even if you think it's hype, the truth is AI is going to determine winners or losers, and I always say don't be a loser. So if your organization is not experimenting with AI, figuring out where it works well, where it doesn't, maybe in legal. There's some issues now with made-up citations, and the judges, aren't happy with that. But still, it's improving, week over week, month over month. I have a session tomorrow on how Copilot lies. Copilot, if you tried it a month ago, 2 months ago, in certain areas, it wasn't working great. But I'll tell you what, this week, it might work great. And next week, it's going to even work better. So whether it's hype or not, just keep experimenting with it.
And I think you're right on that statement, right? If you don't embrace it in some kind of way and you just stay stagnant, then you will fall into the losing category.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
just competition in a marketplace, period. You either evolve with the changing technology or you fall behind. I'm seeing a lot of that myself, right? I've got 36 seconds left here, so I'm going to round it out. But I see that myself, just in the daily work life. We are past the point of just talking about it as a hype thing. It is now, people are using things like Facilitator and AI Companion, and you name the tool sets in their daily work life. They're actually using it, actually getting value. Time is really being saved. So that's where I think we are. I think we're falling out of the hype phase and more into this is actually real now. 8 seconds, and that's kind of ominous. You can't see this. It's blinking at us like, stop. It's time to move on.
Defuse the bomb, Heidi.
Red wire.
So we'll jump to question 2. Right, we just talked about current state here. And this one is kind of a little bit about bringing into agentic here, right? So as the question states, the sprawling workflows of agentic counterparts requiring growing access to collaborative interactions as data points. What sort of change is this bringing about as it relates to how we view and treat phone calls and meetings? I'm going to start with Ben on that.
Alrighty. I think that the challenge here is that the AI is as good as 2 things broadly, or 3, the model, right? The data that you put into it and the question you ask of it. This question is all about the data that you put into it. It's like, it doesn't magically know everything about everything. You have to give it data to sift through and source its answers from. The challenge is that, we're talking about here phone calls and meetings. You're entering into a world where every meeting is a recorded meeting and every phone call is a recorded or transcribed or at least co-pilotized phone call. But that can be good. It means people get the automated notes, they get the follow-up, they get the actions. But the challenge is that, I don't know about you, I behave differently in a meeting that I know is going on the record than a meeting that is not going on the record. Like, Facilitator's great. Yeah. In the UK, we had a thing called Pancake Day. We were discussing on our Teams call, a little bit of colleague banter about Pancake Day. Facilitator was shouting at us for not sticking to the script of the meeting. So there's a challenge with these things being always on, always available. I don't know what that shift is gonna do in the long term.
I think any advancement that makes you behave more in a meeting, Ben, is a good thing, right? So that's great. This question is all about these workflows, right? Areas where data now exists, where it was more of just a regular human interaction before, and now we're looking at things as data and how we're using that. Heidi, where do you see this change shift? I won't say from the Microsoft perspective, but considering
from
the Microsoft tool set. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. So for those I don't know in the audience, so I've had a journey of being super UC focused for most of my career, and then moving into an adjacency with contact center over the last several years. And what's funny is that I feel like we've been having this conversation for many, many years about the context of a meeting being an enterprise asset. And it was always something that kind of we talked about in the periphery, but now as we're moving into this age of AI and data layers and all of that, I think it really is coming to pass. I mean, to your point of, hey, now that a meeting is recorded, are you more careful? Yes. But now also you've got this organizational memory. So I just rejoined Microsoft. I'm not gonna like, oh my gosh, the onboarding process was so seamless. No. But what I will say is that all that organizational memory in the Copilot experience was really interesting because I came from Amazon most recently. And at Amazon, everything is codified in wikis and in documentation. So if I want to know about why a decision was made, I would go and read a 6-pager or a strategy document, and I would I would be up to speed. At Microsoft, I onboarded, and there was no such thing. But I could go out and ask Copilot, well, why didn't we make the decision to monetize this way? I mean, it's a completely different way of working and thinking. And it is truly, we've evolved to, I think, that aspiration where these live conversations that are happening within the enterprise truly are becoming an enterprise asset. And as we start talking to our end customers, and having those interactions with through the contact center, think about the power of those interactions. So it used to be you relied on contact center agents to enter manual data. You relied on CRM systems to have history. And now the spoken word is really the most impactful thing you can capture. I mean, for me, it feels like we're finally getting to the point where where the nirvana that we painted all those years ago is finally coming to pass.
Kevin, I want to get your perspective on thinking about the workflows considering that, but also just thinking about, as we think about all the interactions we have being data that is discoverable, usable by agents, by the platform. How do you view that impacting things like, consider BYOD in an environment, consider these areas that are traditional asks of an environment. Those might now pose risks to your workflows that you're building out, where data should exist, maybe it doesn't. How do you see that changing the landscape of the way organizations consume the platforms and the hardware that supports them?
Yeah, so first on the question, I just want to, the word agentic, I think we should stop using because vendors just define it however they want. That just means get shit done, so that's good. I think increasingly, we're figuring out we want all of our data together, and voice is, having a new moment because meetings and calls. But the truth is, especially in larger organizations, we may not always use the same platform. So I spend a lot of time as an analyst looking at the great things Microsoft's doing, but what Zoom is doing super well, what Cisco's doing, what Google's doing. And the truth is, you want it all together, and you don't want to lose that. And so if you're in the Microsoft ecosystem, I would encourage you to look at, for example, what Zoom is doing with their AI companion, because they're trying to bring it together. And all these connectors and MCP servers, that is where your workflow really becomes valuable, because if you ask Copilot, why do we monetize this? And if because of permissioning or because a meeting happened in person that with the executives and wasn't captured, you get an answer, because Copilot will always answer. All the AI assistants always give you an answer, but it may indeed be wrong. So I think that as we rely on this to be our workflows and assume, we've got to be careful to understand the blind spots that it also brings up.
Good point. Patrick, you get the final word on this one.
Well, 3-hour answer, I got a minute 20. Is that good? I think this is the next iteration of what we're talking about with AI. First was generative AI, right? Creating pretty pictures in ChatGPT. And now we're talking about agentic AI. I think this next level is kind of what Kevin alluded to, is MCP. I know this is shocking, but not everyone uses Microsoft for all phone calls and Teams meetings. I know this is crazy to think about other platforms out there, but that data is still valuable. And when companies wall off the garden to be able to say, hey, you can only ask in this certain platform, this certain garden, that doesn't help customers. I want to pull in Zoom meetings. I want to pull in Cisco phone calls. I want to pull in all that context with MCP and then have everything be answerable by one, whether that's Copilot, whether that's Claude, whether that's ChatGPT. It doesn't matter to the user. I just want the valuable data. And I think MCP is where we're going with agentic workflows and generative AI.
Awesome. It's angry at us, so it's time to pivot to the third and final question here. We'll jump into that, and this one is more future-facing. Right? We kind of talked about current state. We've talked about some of the changing landscape with how workflows are changing and right in front of us, the things we're doing daily, and this is more about looking at the future. So, not asking for roadmap answers here or anything like that, but I'm very curious on each of your views on where we see things going. I'll give you a quick example. Right now, our AI data is very largely about words and what's spoken and what's said, what's written. In the future, I personally think there's going to be a lot more video data that gets wrapped into what AI is doing. So, Patrick, I know you just answered, but I want you to kick this one off with what you kind of see things taking shape in the future here.
I think our work surface changes drastically in the next 3 years, right? 20 years ago, our work surface was an OS and Outlook. That's how we did our work. Then it was web browser, and then it was Link and Skype and Teams. The next iteration is going to be a surface of just a web browser AI, a place where you literally pull in all that information. Claude, for example, is making that happen because it can pull in data from third-party SaaS providers, Salesforce, Workday, Dynamics. It can pull all that into one surface. So users don't have to switch to Dynamics CRM, doesn't have to go to a contact center, doesn't have to go to a web browser. They can literally pull everything in on one surface. Claude or whatever MCP that you're going to put in front of it, ChatGPT, Cowork, call it whatever you want, can now have access to all that data, changing my work surface. I want to create a PowerPoint slide. I don't go to PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I just say, hey, we had 4 meetings on this topic. Create a PowerPoint slide for me. I don't have to leave what I'm doing as a user. My surface will actually decrease in the future.
Like it. Ben, I want to lean on the last part of this question here and ask from your perspective what you're seeing on the customer side. What are solutions leaving out currently on the AI front? What do customers actually be planning for what you see on the horizon?
I mean, the future, like Patrick was talking about around MCPs and hooking in to pull your data from all sorts of different places. It's as an organization, you need to understand what your risk looks like for what data you've got where. Like in the Microsoft world, we're talking about facilitator and meetings and that sort of stuff. That works perfectly if it's all internal meetings. As soon as you've got external meetings, you're having a fight over who owns that meeting to, again, who owns the transcript, who owns the co-pilotness that can come out of that. So in terms of planning for this sort of change, it's understanding where you're exposing your data, where you're okay to expose your data, and where you want to pull other data in from to be managed by your organization. That's kind of the tricky part of this. Like, it's the issue with OpenClaw and all that sort of stuff that people just let it run rampant. It got connectors into everything and anything and can do anything you like, and then people are surprised when it's gone and done some crazy stuff. So, you know, from an organization point of view, we know that this is a challenge that is coming. There's not necessarily the correct answers for that. Stuff like Agent 365 on the Microsoft side help with planning and managing and having visibility of those things, but that's what you need to be being aware of into the future is, you know, where your data is being exposed and where it's acceptable for it to be. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, you just need to understand where and why.
Love that. Kick it over to you, Heidi.
Yeah, I love this question. I was thinking about whether to provide a technology answer or whether to provide more of like a cultural answer. So I think I'm going to actually lean on the cultural answer, which is I hope in the future that all of these technologies create more space, time and space for us to be more human. And that sounds so trite, given I think CXO out there is articulating some sort of version of that. But I do feel like this technology is going to create more space for us to be more creative, but we have to be owners of that creativity. So for example, the last keynote I wrote in my last role at Amazon, I did that, you know, out for a walk in the sunshine, thinking about concierge, and gosh, wouldn't it be great if we could offer a concierge experience to everybody and it wasn't limited to just the high-end organizations. We could democratize concierge experiences. I came up with that just walking around, and then I went back and took my spoken transcript from my walking around brainstorming session, popped it into my favorite conversational AI experience, and was able to come up with a really great story that an executive delivered at Enterprise Connect. Cool, right? But we can't let go of our creativity, and I feel like we have to still have agency in this new world, and that's the thing I really think about. I mean, the technology is always going to figure itself out. Is it going to be faster?
I'm sorry.
Is it going to be better? And that's my sign, I'm sure. But I feel like the technology solutions are always going to be there, but we have to have more agency to ensure that we're getting like the most, that it's improving our lives, really improving our lives.
I like where you went with that. I like that you took the cultural route, because I think that as we pitch it to you, Kevin, to wrap it up, I want your take on what the future looks like, what we should plan for, et cetera. But I guess I want to sprinkle in a little bit of the question there for you as well, is how do we preserve our humanity as we look at more and more moments of our life being points of data? Right?
Yeah, no, I think so this is a great question. I think, just to, go and start with what Patrick said, I think, there is now, all the vendors are racing to be the top layer of the platform, which is really you just wake up and say, what do I need to do today? And show me the dashboard, and it gets vibe coded. A couple years ago, I talked to Gurdeep Singh Paul, who's ex-Microsoft, now at Qualtrics, and he said, we spent all this time designing websites and menus. Now you're just going to go and it's just going to say, tell me what you're trying to do. And that becomes the interface, right? So I think that we're seeing that, there's this proliferation of agents. We don't want 100 agents. I just want the one agent that goes and does the orchestration. And those are still complicated technical problems that are still being, trying to be solved. But I think to Heidi's point, and also, like Ben from the, MVP, I think all of us play a little role at ensuring when we're implementing this technology that we are humanizing it, and that we are making sure that security and privacy is captured, because you talked about video recording. I know in the EU you can't do sentiment analysis using video because they don't want biometrics in that. So I think there's privacy, and all of us are going to play a role in remembering that the people come first. And so it is the change management, it's the training for IT pros and end users so they don't feel overwhelmed. And then hopefully we get all the good of AI and we avoid some of the bad.
Awesome answer. That's 100%. The responsibility is in all of our hands to make sure we keep humanness in the center of it all. Thank you to our amazing panel here for all your insights, opinions, thoughts on this. Hopefully this was helpful, and we will jump into the next leg of our panel. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You said this was a quiz. Where's the speedboat?
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. That one dropped. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have next up, as we kind of get things changed out here really quickly, want to talk about Momentum Telecom. If you've deployed Teams Phone at scale, you already know them. Momentum is one of the original Microsoft Operator Connect partners, powering voice in 33 countries, worldwide internet connectivity, contact center, and SD-WAN SaaS for enterprises. They lead the market in CX and contact center configurations within Teams Phone, the kind of multi-site, multi-country, compliance-heavy deployments most providers won't touch. Recognized this year on the CRN Solution Provider 500, MSP Today, Product of the Year, and the Channel Visionary Spotlight Awards. I can't say that fast. They don't just talk about what's possible with Teams, they ship it. So please welcome Momentum Telecom. Thank you all for that. And then next up on our sponsors, just to kind of highlight here really quickly, we've got Anywhere Now. Anywhere Now is a global provider of AI-first, Microsoft-native customer experience solutions. The company helps organizations design and scale intelligent customer interactions across voice, digital, and AI-driven channels, built for the Microsoft ecosystem and Microsoft Teams. Its solutions include Dialog Cloud for enterprise omni-channel customer experience, Deep Desk for agentic and autonomous AI across customer interactions, and Tenfor for fast Teams native customer communications. Together, these solutions simplify complexity and help organizations move customer experience forward with confidence. Thank you to Anywhere Now and to Momentum. Again, we can't do this without our sponsors, so we really appreciate you guys listening to us highlight them as we go forward. But now we get to bring on Josh back for, I think this was probably one of the most fun things that we've ever done, honestly.
This will be, we did a little competition, right? Our UC Bake-Off is what we called it. A lot of words on here, but we put this up here just to kind of give you an idea of the challenge that we put out there. In case you didn't see the post on LinkedIn or see what this competition consisted of, we challenged people to give us in 500 words or less how they would tackle the problem that you see up here, right? This is a big M&A sprawl, all kinds of technologies in the mix. What are you going to start to do to fix it? This is very nebulous. 500 words or less, you got to say high level how you're going to start tackling this problem. And so we put the goal, and we got some very good, well thought out, a lot of good submissions in. We whittled that down to the top 4 who are going to duke it out today. They were given the assignment of having one slide to say how they're going to take care of all this. So each of them gets a total of up to 8 minutes to present one slide to answer this complex question. And then you get the responsibility, once they're all done presenting, of voting in real time for who took the top prize. And first place is going to get a Surface Pro 11 13-inch. Second place is getting an Xbox Series X Galaxy Black, because May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th, right? So there it is. That's going to be our top 2, and third and fourth place, thank you for participating, but that's going to be what that is.
Maybe we'll find something for you.
Yes.
I'm sure we can figure something out for you. So
yeah.
We really did have a lot of submissions. I was really impressed, and for the 4 people, you had like a day and a half to prepare for this. So
we told them like Saturday, hey, make a slide, and they had that much time. So with that, we'll call up Kyle Combs as our first presenter, and I think we got this in the right order here. Kyle, is this your slide? Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, we did. We got it in the right order. Welcome on up.
Going first is always fun. So, as Josh said, we had very little time, so I apologize for reading off my phone here. I do want to start off, my name's Kyle Combs. I'm the manager of Unified Communications.
Mic up.
Sorry.
Yep.
Manager of Unified Communications, Infrastructure and Operations at University of Nevada, Reno. This was actually a very interesting challenge, because this is something that we've had to do. I do want to thank everybody here at vNext. I've been coming since 2019, and this has really helped kind of springboard a lot of this tech and a lot of my experience in doing this. So to jump in, in a 10,000 person enterprise, IT is no longer just providing storage, compute, email, phones, and online meetings. IT provides the overarching operating system for how work gets done. But in many organizations, that operating system has become fragmented. Employees are collaborating across chat environments, meeting in multiple collaboration spaces, storing content in various locations, platforms, while still also relying on legacy PBX systems for paging, analog lines, and informal workarounds. The resultant is not just complexity, it's risk. Risk from unknown data, risk from duplicate content, risk from unmanaged collaboration, risk from shadow and distributed IT, and risk from trying to modernize too quickly without first understanding what exists where. That is why our strategy has been simple. Start with discovery, streamline governance, then modernize the stack to meet the needs where they are. If we start on the left of the slide, this is the current state for many large enterprises. There's no single workplace fabric, there are islands. Beyond existing Microsoft products, enterprises are using Slack, WhatsApp for fast communication, Zoom and WebEx for meetings. Google Workspace may be used by certain departments or acquired business units. Box, Dropbox, NAS, SAN, and other shared drives still hold critical business data. Legacy PBX, paging systems, fax lines, elevators, etc., and other analog devices are still deeply embedded in operations. And then there's shadow IT, duplicate repositories, unsanctioned tools, unmanaged file sharing, and content no one fully owns. From an employee perspective, this creates friction in multiple ways. They do not know which version of a document is authoritative. They switch between apps all day. They are regularly asked to learn new apps as leadership churns. They recreate content that already exists, and they route around systems because official tools feel harder than the unofficial ones. From an IT and security perspective, the problem is even larger. Where is sensitive data stored? Who has access to it? Which systems are still business critical? Which tools are redundant? Which risks are invisible? And lastly, how do we begin managing the vast number of desired platforms with limited resources? This is why forklifting or lift and shift modernization fails. If we simply move fragmented content into Microsoft 365 without understanding it, we do not modernize the enterprise, we migrate the mess. So the first move cannot be migration. The first move must be discovery. Discovery approach that brings us to the center of the slide. This is the discovery and control plane anchored by Microsoft Purview and Graph API. Purview becomes a starting point because it allows organizations to understand its data estate before making transformation decisions. The first phase is a discovery sprint. The goal is not to boil the ocean all at once, it's to build an accurate map of where the organization is today. We can crawl, assess data across Slack, WhatsApp, GWE, Box, Zoom, NAS, virtualized environments, and any other repository. We can identify where the content lives, classify the sensitive information such as PII, financial data, IP, customer data, regulatory records. We map ownership, assess patterns, duplication, and exposure. We identify unmanaged repositories and shadow IT, and begin applying data loss prevention, retention, sensitivity labeling, and governance policies across all Microsoft and external environments. This gives executives and leadership something they don't often have: visibility. Instead of asking where do we think our sensitive data is, we can say we know where it is, and here's what it's required to secure and protect it. Instead of debating whether to migrate everything, we can make informed decisions. What should move, what should be archived, what should be deleted, what can or must remain integrated, what needs stronger controls, what can be retired, and what automations are needed to provide employees comfort and flexibility in tool choice while simultaneously providing organization oversight and security. This is also where governance becomes enablement, not a roadblock. The discovery sprint creates a foundation for a governed workplace architecture. And before we introduce more AI, we can consolidate or automate tools before we modernize voice, before we standardize collaboration, we can establish control. Because an AI-enabled enterprise, data governance is no longer optional. If Copilot or other AI platforms or agents are going to search, summarize, create, and assist, the underlying content must be properly permissioned. So the center slide is the most important message. We don't modernize first and govern later. We govern first so that modernization is safe, scalable, and AI ready. Now I move to the right of the slide in the future state. What I call the Microsoft Fabric, or mesh if you're tired of the reuse of terms. This is not just a collection of Microsoft tools, it is a secured, governed, and connected ecosystem for how 10,000 plus people can communicate, collaborate, create, meet, and serve customers. Teams becomes the front door of the digital workplace, the place where employees chat, meet, call, collaborate, access apps, and engage with AI or custom agents that pass messages between external services if desired. Behind Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive become the governed content foundation. This means content is no longer scattered and unmanaged. It is organized, permissioned, searchable, labeled, protected, and ready for AI experiences. For communications, Teams Phone with direct routing provides the modern voice platform, but we aren't pretending the legacy world disappears overnight. That's why the architecture includes SBCs, media gateways, analog, and integration patterns for direct routing, legacy PBX, emergency devices, overhead paging, and so on. This is critical because real enterprises do not modernize in a vacuum. Hospitals, factories, campuses, warehouses, all have physical communication dependencies. The goal is not reckless replacement, it's controlled modernization and no asset abandonment. For security and governance, Microsoft Purview and Defender for cloud apps protect the environment across the third-party platforms Purview provides the data governance, compliance, classification, retention, e-discovery, DLP, and so on. For meetings, Teams, Rooms, and video interop services such as CVI or Zoom interop support a practical transition with maximal flexibility. And I'm getting called off the stage here. So again, to wrap up, you start with discovery, classify, strengthen governance, and then modernize.
Well done, Kyle. Well done. Thank you. I just needed to give you a gentle nudge before Pat came up, because then it would get ugly. So, all right. Thank you. Next up, we're going to have Paul Logan come up and present his presentation. Again, single slides. Paul, where are you at? There you are. All right, come on. Chad, sorry. Chad.
All right, good morning. I'm glad that Josh thinks this is fun because this is a nightmare for me, but I thought I'd give it a try. So yeah, thanks for the vNext team. I do enjoy this conference quite a bit. It's, I think, the third time I've been here. I love the size, everything about it. One thing, raise your hand if you have Pat's book on Skype Unleashed. Everybody? Ready? Yep, all right. So some of us have been around for quite a while, and what we look at is all of the legacy collaboration apps and services that we're continually trying to eliminate. And so using Teams and Microsoft 365, I can turn today's buffet of legacy apps, overlapping platforms, inconsistent policies, and into a single governed 5-star workplace experience. More secure, easier to support, and consistent across every site. All right, take a breath, heartbeat come down. As an appetizer, all right, we're going to use Defender for discovery, Intra-ID for sign-in logs, and Purview for data classification and labeling. So that, as mentioned previously, we need to plan, we need to know what our users are doing. We need to have Entra and conditional access in place and tuned for our devices so that data protection is actually enforced, not just documented. So this is where we make sure all of our guests are included as stakeholders from each location so that we can make sure their dietary needs of the entire enterprise are considered. We move on to the main course, standardizing collaboration across the entire enterprise. Microsoft Teams provide the robust meeting, persistent collaboration with not only internal but external users as well. We'll use Operator Connect where it fits for speed and simplicity, with direct routing when we need survivability, analog integration or specialized routing backed by survivable branch appliances. And then we can implement dynamic emergency calling with location data, validate PSAP routing per site, running test calls, operationalize location ownership so it stays accurate even after moves, adds, and changes. We modernize paging with SIP gateways, endpoint controllers, using the SIP gateway so that we can preserve existing plant workflows while retiring legacy devices. Exchange online standardizes emails, calendaring access, scheduling, compliance controls, SharePoint and OneDrive, standardized content collaboration, replacing scattered file share silos with governed storage, secure sharing, and a single foundation for e-discovery and sensitivity labels. This also provides a consistent target for migrations, so when we move from Google Workplace and Dropbox, file shares become repeatable. The process is repeatable instead of just a one-off trying to make it work every time. Meeting rooms are simplified with consistent MTR architecture that delivers a predictable experience, right? One button join. Everybody loves just walking and hitting the button and joining the meeting. That's what you should expect. We'll have the coexistence policy so that coexistence policy will be established with Teams as the default, but we will allow Zoom, to resume remaining support specific external workflows using rooms are standardized to join both with consistent one-touch experience. And moving on to dessert, we introduced a future without creating new risk. So legacy apps remain for a defined transitional period of time, but with clear milestones and a decommissioning plan. At the same time, we unlock value with Copilot wrapped in security-first principles. Purview with sensitivity labels, DLP to prevent oversharing, conditional access, and device compliance to control where prompts are, what's being used, and audit and logging so that all the data is viewable and compliant. Finally, after we're full, the bill arrives and we see measurable ROI, less tool sprawl, fewer headaches, stronger compliance, safer emergency calls, and a simpler way to work because the platform is standardized and governed. And that's it.
Nice job, Chad. Nice job, Chad. All right. Thank you, Chad. Awesome. Sorry for the name mix-up. I'm headboxing on the mind, I guess. My bad. This got me hungry now. I'm waiting for lunch and churros eventually. This is awesome. Next up, we've got Kelly Schroeder, who's going to bring his presentation up. And one more right after that. Kelly, welcome to the stage.
Good morning. Kelly Schrader. I'm actually one of those fortunate recipients of the scholarship, so I'm actually really grateful to be able to be here, having been recently laid off and also selected to be able to present. So as I thought about this problem, I decided to come at this from a slightly different perspective because I live in people and what humans need to be able to function well. And oftentimes what we do in technology is we focus on this tension, those four arrows that are coming together. And we do different levels of success with each of the four arrows, especially for us in IT. You know, it's about that technology, about the execution. If we do it well, sometimes we get into the business need, we understand what's driving it. But oftentimes we miss or we delegate to someone else the human impact of what the change is going to create for the people that we're serving. And so I think we have an opportunity as leaders, as technologists, to make a difference in our organizations in building trust, building culture, improving the experience of our people in more than just the technology tools that they use every day. So with that, I like to think about Maslow's hierarchy, which is this triangle here on the right side. And it talks about how there's needs that humans have, that until a need is satisfied, they can't progress to a higher level of achievement, actualization. You know, that's kind of the peak of Maslow's hierarchy, is that self-actualization. But as I thought about technology and our role within delivering solutions to organizations, I realized that we're actually in that really low safety and security level. And if you're unsure about that, think about a time when you had to support someone whose primary driver wasn't working, whether it's their device, their login, CRM, Teams, whatever that tool was. Think about their emotion when you walked into or joined the meeting, did the remote support session, whatever that was. And then think about their emotion when you were done. The gratitude, oh man, you're so amazing. I'm so glad you helped me out. This is going to make all the difference in my day. And so what this means, though, is that when we're doing technology change, we're impacting people at this really low level. That there is a lack of psychological safety oftentimes for the people that are going through what might be a good change. You know, as the other two have talked about so far, this is really important. The work that's being done, the solution that's being provided is really going to make a difference in the organization. But the people are sometimes missed. So, how do we do that? How can we create psychological safety for people when we're not over them, we're working alongside of them, we're delivering a solution? There's a lot of things we can't control, but we can control clarity. We can provide the what, the when, the why, And we can communicate that in a way that people can understand. We can be transparent, talk about what we're doing, where we're at in the process, what went wrong, and how we're going to do it better the next time. The key thing with transparency, though, is humility. Transparency dies where pride enters into the conversation. And so you have to be willing to just say, you know what, this didn't work. We rolled out Teams and everybody lost all their files that they had stored in Slack because we didn't pull them out of Slack, we just connected it to Dropbox. We're going to do better next time. The other part of this also is listening. When people don't feel like they have an avenue for advocating for themselves, they feel unsafe. They feel like they can't make changes, and they seek control at that point. There's an emotional reaction, there's anger, there's frustration, discouragement. But when we can engage them and seek input and then act upon it, then we build trust. We build safety in the people that we're serving. So the process behind this, how do we actually make this something into more than just an idea that sounds really nice and HR claps because it sounds like emotional intelligence? We start with why. We get that from the leadership. We go to the executives and we say, why are we doing this and why are we doing this now? And sometimes that'll be vague, so there'll be some process to drill down. This needs to be clear and it needs to be written down so that it can be communicated and it can drive scope. Then we need to understand the business rhythms and how this is going to impact processes. So doing this at the end of the quarter is a terrible time for some groups. Some groups are on an annual cycle, so we're going to do this, we're going to jump right in, and we've got till the end of the year. The other part is building pilots. There's nothing like jumping into the chaos of doing this across 10,000 people all at once and having to iterate in real time across every single person in the organization. What a pilot does is it allows for a higher level of engagement, an opportunity for people to provide feedback and receive input back again. And that also gives the opportunity to build a foundation of trust. So the people that are going to go through a pilot that's done well are going to be the champions, not because they love the tech stack, but because they felt heard and they felt safe, and they're able to move into the technology in a way that actually feels like it's making a difference. Then communication. Communication is core. No organization does this well, so everybody can do this better. And we all say we're going to, and most of the time we don't. But there's an opportunity here to put communication at the core, and that's where that, going back to that transparency, clarity, humility, communication has to be that main thing. Listening, we got to hear behind the emotion. People are angry, they're frustrated, they're disappointed, they're scared. Okay, but what's driving that? Can we solve that? Tell me your problem. Let's find an answer. And then we iterate. Come back, fix the problem. What's working? What's not? We rolled out a new tool. Good luck. No, we're going to actually listen, we're going to talk, and we're going to hear what's going on. And then, when we've got a successful pilot, we roll out to the entire org. And we do the same thing, but hopefully with fewer mistakes. Thank you.
Nice job, Kelly. Thank you. Yeah, this thing is going to take one of us out. Got to be careful here. All right, final presentation is going to be from Matt Slaga. So, Matt, where are you at? That was a little Dr. Seuss there. All right, Matt, welcome to the stage.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for that amazing introduction.
I do what I can.
Thank you. So I do scenarios and solutions like this all the time. However, I rarely present it to 400 highly intelligent people. Usually I have a couple of weeks prepare. I will be glancing at my notes. I apologize in advance. But welcome, everyone. Today I want to walk you through my solution for this scenario. I created a phased approach for helping them modernize their communications, secure their data, and manage their identity across this organization. I like to take a different approach. Every plan starts with user outcomes. We want to take the time to understand their business, the impact this is going to have on their users, their workflows, pain points, readiness, and we want to do that before we actually do the plan and design and build. The roadmap I've created has 3 phases. It spans roughly 12 months is what I'd estimate for this customer. Yes, thank you. I will bring it closer. Phase 1, discover and prioritize. During the first 2 weeks, we kick off the user information gathering. Who are the users? What are the applications? What are the devices, the PBXs, all those types of things. Find out what are their single sign-on apps, identity providers. Our goal here is no assumptions. We want to document the current state. Parallel task, we're going to interview all the key stakeholders across the C-suite, IT, telephony, facilities, and we want to go to each individual business unit. We can get some very key information from them. We also need to understand their priorities, constraints, and we want to get an idea of that layer 8 political landscape so we know how to operate correctly. We want to do those things before we get into generating design, adoption plans, etc. Next up, the voice topology. That's where I love to play the most. What are their PBX systems, paging zones, PSTN connections, and any manufacturing floor requirements that need special handlings, things like static-free phones, emergency pull phones, buzzers, etc. What type of cabling is being used, or any of the equipment connected to old modems, and how do we modernize that? At the tail end of this phase, we're going to organize all of those findings, and we're going to create a dependency, priority, and fiscal impact. We want to know what to tackle first, and what can give us those lucrative, low-hanging fruit early project wins. Phase 2 is tactical sprint. This is where the rubber meets the road. With our discovery complete, we're going to move into execution. For this customer, we want Azure AD to be the identity source of truth. We're going to begin a phased conditional access and single sign-on rollout. I don't envision this being a forklift. This is going to be a phased rollout. All right, next thing, Microsoft Purview. We want to use that for automated data classification, data loss prevention across all the platforms, including Dropbox and Google Workplace. This is going to give us visibility into their sensitive data locations, classifications, and it's going to help us get compliance early on. And then this information is also going to be used to build and prioritize our migration plans as we move all that data to SharePoint and OneDrive. On the telephony side, we're going to launch a modernization pilot. Rather than ripping and replacing everything at once, we're going to select a representative group. We're going to prove the approach works and build confidence for the broader rollout. We're going to persona map all of the meeting rooms, and we're going to begin the retrofit process. We want to match the right technology to each space based on how they are intended to use it. Last, but in my opinion, one of the most important steps is the user adoption lifecycle management. This needs to start here, not after go live. We need to be looking at communication plans, training, curricula, change management, support structures. These all need to be built from the get-go, not as a bolt-on add-on afterwards. We're also going to identify tech champions, those power users who are trusted in the enterprise. We're going to use them to assist in the marketing and rollout. Moving on to phase 3, I call scale and optimize. Now we're going to scale what we proved in the sprint. Migration is going to happen in business unit waves. I like doing people-first approaches. It helps minimize disruption and lets each team transition on a published schedule, so everybody knows what's happening and when. At this stage, we're also going to migrate and automate the E911 location services, and we're going to ensure and enable device posture checks. We also want to roll out centralized dashboards so everyone that's involved in the project can see real-time visibility into the adoption progress, usage, and it's going to help us identify early any problem areas that we need to kind of go back and rework. And kind of following on to that, we want to institute continuous improvement policies based on observed real data. This is going to ensure that this isn't a one-time project. It should be an ongoing operational discipline. Now that I've finished that part, I'd like to dive into what I see are the key differentiators in this approach. Heavy lean on adoption lifecycle management. We want to create deliverables such as day in the life stories and guides, things like micro training modules, things of that nature to really help drive up that adoption. Because remember, we're not just deploying technology, we're teaching people how this fits into their daily tasks, how it will affect and enhance their work. We want to let them focus on what's important. The incentivized tech champions is another differentiator. We want to assign those within each business unit, provide that white glove adoption support. We get those peer-to-peer trusted guidance. That's proven to drive faster, more sustainable change. And finally, last one, fiscally responsible. We want to reuse legacy equipment wherever it makes sense. However, we don't want to leave it at that. We want to pair it with lifecycle management so we know when we're going to be replacing those in the future so we can help the customer budget. All right, to summarize, I believe this roadmap helps deliver security, compliance, and modern communications on an accelerated timeline with budget-friendly considerations. We want to discover, 57 seconds, thank you. Discover before we deploy, we pilot before we scale, and we put people at the center of every decision. If there's one takeaway from this solution, it's this. Every technical solution must consider the impact and effect on users. We want to create strategies on how to mitigate, give users solid reasoning. Why am I going through this change? We need to provide that. And we want to provide simple, people-focused support. From my 30 years of IT experience, I've learned that technology deployment is easy, people are not. If we get the people right, the technology will follow. Thank you for your time, and I truly hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Nicely done, Matt. Nicely done. Okay, so that's our four. I think actually, do we have a fifth?
So what we're going to do here, we're going to bring up a slide here to let people vote. But while we're doing that, we've got one more person that we need to bring up. Let's see him out there right now. But where's Mark Vale? Did he run off? Mark left? What? Tell Mark to get in here. Somebody get Mark in here real quick. So really quickly, Jonathan, if you can get up the voting QR code. So we're going to take our votes. We're just going to leave the QR code up here. And while we bring Mark in, we're going to have you guys go ahead and take the QR code and vote. And then when we're done with Mark, we'll post the results here. So, hey Mark, come on up here.
Mark, come on up, buddy.
Come here. Mark, quick, come on. So we're going to let everybody vote, but Mark, I need you to come on up here real quickly for us. So if you guys don't know who Mark Vale is, how many people had a really amazing experience getting their badge this morning? Yeah, all right. So Mark, he hates me right now, because but Mark is the mastermind behind the Just Attend app that you guys are all using and everything, and he did an amazing job putting together the badge bot and everything. But I wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out because if you don't know, he can actually be contacted for this. So if you are all putting on an event, Mark, I really do appreciate it. Also, Mark puts on Commsverse over in the UK. We've had a great relationship over the years.
Until now.
Dude, it is not Commsverse. Stop that fire alarm. And hey, by the way, Will says hi. I love you, buddy. But no, seriously, for folks who don't know, Mark has supported us here at Comms vNext so tremendously with Just Attend, with Lorraine. If you're a sponsor, you know Lorraine. She has helped us out tremendously. But Mark, I did want to take just a few seconds to say thank you, give you a little razzing, but very much thank you for all that you do to support us, because a large part of what we do couldn't happen without you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yep. And I do have a quick little gift for you.
He's got something for you.
So you don't have to do a fire alarm at Commsverse. We got you your own little fire alarm. And I got you up on stage so Will can watch.
That mic's about to become a weapon.
I will.
All right, thank you all so much. All right, so we've been voting. Everybody voted at this point? All right.
Anyone still? We good?
All right, Jonathan, let's see who the winners are. Oh, Matt, and then Kyle. Oh, we got some votes changing, it looks like. All right, so Matt, you are our winner, and Kyle, you are in second place. And then Chad and Kelly, we will take care of you too, because everybody here who put this on, honestly, you guys all deserve something besides just a big hand, but thank you all for this.
Well done, guys.
Tremendous amount of effort put in by all for this within that. So with that, we have just one more thing here real quick. We're going to talk about, and I can't read anything without my glasses anymore, so again, the age thing happens. And I get to do this because they gave me 3 different blurbs, and I'm going to choose one of them, and then they get to find out who was the coolest of who got theirs spoken. So there's a gap between what Microsoft 365 can do and what most teams can realistically manage day to day. Admins are stretched, power users are doing their best, and important decisions get delayed because the data isn't clear. Orchestry closes that gap with a platform that's built to be used, not just configured. It simplifies provisioning, automates governance, and turns scattered data into something you can actually act on. The result is a more controlled, secure environment that's actually ready for what's next, including AI. Not magic, just better control and smarter execution. I think I heard that magic word earlier today. Don't know where. So thank you to Orchestry for sponsoring. Thank you to all of you for participating in our opening ceremonies here. We have a little bit of time. We are going to open up the expo hall before the first sessions get started. So I hope that everybody will take advantage of that time to go start their expo hall bingo and go see the incredible sponsors. If you see me around, say hi. I'd love to chat with you. And thank you all for being here.